Hi, I'm Danny Nightmare.
I'm Gory Movie.
And we're Horror Addicts.
And today we're gonna go see A Quiet Place. Shh.
No talking.
They better not talk.
Better be good.
Because I hear this movie's gonna be really quiet. And I want to be able to hear the silence.
My eyeballs, I want to hear it all.
Yeah.
Better be plenty of good visuals.
And even though, I know a lot of you have already seen this movie, thankfully, it has not been spoiled for us yet. So
Thank you for keeping it quiet.
I know Emily Blunt's in it. I know the guy from The Office is in it. I know they got kids. And there's some kind of a creature, but I don't know what it is.
But it doesn't like noise.
Yeah, well, I think it's got good hearing.
It's blind, probably.
Possibly. I think it might be some kind of an alien, though, because I do know that originally they had debated whether or not they wanted to include this in the Cloverfield universe.
Bad robot.
But they didn't, because they, ended up wanting to do their own thing, which I think was a good decision. But based on that, I'm thinking maybe alien? I don't know.
Possibly.
But I'm gonna find out, and you're gonna find out.
At the end, we won't keep too quiet about it.
Yeah, we're gonna review this puppy, spoiler-free, after we see the movie.
Give you our thoughts. Had to break the silence there.
Yeah! I think that's the most quiet I've ever seen a movie theater in my life. There was only 2 other couples, I think, there, and they didn't make a noise, so even just moving to, remove my jacket, I felt like I was making so much noise.
On pins and needles.
The whole movie is really, really quiet, and the score, it creeps in. The best parts are when there is a scare, the noise just amps up, and it really jolts you.
You appreciate all the little sounds when you barely get to hear them. Every once in a while, there's a little dialogue in this movie, but not a lot.
I imagine it would have been very hard for them to learn their parts, because so much of it is what they need to be reacting to in the situation as opposed to just learning your lines.
Sign language lines.
And John Krasinski from The Office, he really had his work cut out for him in this. He directed it, he starred in it, he produced it, he helped write it, and I think it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, he did an amazing job, and it's just good to see him in such a different role than I've normally seen him in.
Yeah, it was a very dramatic role, and him and Emily Blunt and the actors, the child actors in this were fantastic. They were all very good at emoting and acting with their expressions.
Nothing too gory in this film, but they do have a lot of balls. They'll go places that are pretty messed up.
Yeah, well, when your cast is primarily children and a couple parents, something horrible is going to happen. So no spoilers, but be prepared for that.
Yep.
I won't spoil anything. I'm not going to tell you what the creatures are or anything. I called them the creatures before, so I'm just going to keep calling them that, but I'm not going to tell you anything about them or how they look, but I will say that I was happy with them.
Yeah.
And as far as the feel of the movie goes, the movie's set on a farm in a cornfield, and that coupled with the danger lurking outside kind of gave me a Signs feel. It also obviously reminded me a little bit of the Hush episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, because there's almost no dialogue in this.
Yeah.
That said, I feel like they were still able to really develop the characters. I feel like you really pull for these characters. You want them to be okay.
Yeah, there's even some lighthearted moments in there. Even though they don't talk, they still find ways to express that.
There's going to be parts in this, I think, where anybody is going to be frustrated with these characters, because as smart as they are, they make a few mistakes that are just so monumental, it's unbelievable.
It's hard to even believe that they could go so long without making some mistakes, though, so...
Yeah, it's really going to get you on the edge of your seat. Primarily, I think the draw of this movie is going to be the sound design. Like I said, it's incredible. They did a great job with the score. They did a great job with the sound effects. The acting is top-notch. The directing is top-notch. It's a really solid film throughout.
Yeah, the visuals were great too, so.
Yeah, hopefully anybody who sees this is going to have the same experience we did, where you get to see it in a nice quiet theater, because there are so many moments where you need it to be absolutely quiet. It's a movie that you need to sit down and pay attention to. You can't be doing other things. I do think it will be just as good on home video, because that way you can guarantee that your environment's quiet.
Yeah, probably best watched in the dark, quiet, alone, not a bunch of distractions in the background, so.
In a quiet place?
A very quiet place.
Maybe.
Sometimes I get mad when movies are very quiet most of the time, but then they're really loud. This one, it's intentionally needs to be that way, so
Yeah.
I would appreciate it that way.
I was a little nervous going into this because, I mean, it is a little gimmicky, you know, when you hear a movie that it's not going to have a lot of dialogue in it, it's going to be really quiet, but I feel like the quality of the acting and the directing really made this elevated to be a really solid film. It's not just about the gimmick of them not talking. There's some genuine scares in here and a hell of a lot of suspense.
And you get a few answers towards the end, but it's one of those movies that doesn't need to explain everything to you, and I like that about it, so kind of just thrown into this world.
And despite how quiet it is, I feel like the pacing was pretty good. I mean, there are a few slow moments, but for the most part, there's a pretty consistent tension throughout the film.
And nothing drags or catches for too long, so.
Yeah, it starts with a bang and it ends on one.
No spoilers on the ending. The only thing I can think of is I'm not quite 100% sure how I feel about it, but when I see it again, maybe I'll know.
I will say that I thought the ending was a bit abrupt. Maybe that's what you're thinking too?
Yeah, it's a little abrupt. It might grow on me. I have to think about that one, though.
Yeah, it's one I need to see again before I really know entirely like how I'm going to feel about this one in the long run. I had a great time seeing it in the theater, but I will say despite the abrupt ending, it does tell a complete story, so you're not going to be left going, what the fuck?
Yeah, so we're going to zip it for now and go back to being quiet about this. If you have a chance to go out and see it, I recommend it.
I do too. Oh, and the quiet place drinking game, every time someone tells somebody to be quiet or goes, drink, you'll be wasted by the end of this film.
Probably won't be very quiet, though. Thanks for watching. Cut.
Yeah.